users that are on merchants that are registered on Nexus Pay, users just input their till numbers and make payments. So cash, then the amount, then you proceed. And then we on paying utilities, we shipping the feature to just pay direct to M-Pesa, and also be able to send direct to M-Pesa users.
What do you make of Nexus Pay? Do you see it help boost Africa's economy? Talk to us. The hashtag is TekoTech at KBC Channel 1. My name is Stephanie Ayeta, and I look forward to hosting you again next week, same time, same place.
Mwenyewe analia, ananiambia nataka aende shule. Na shule atafikaje na akiwa mgonjwa na wengine? Mzee hana kazi. Watoto kusoma tu ni shida. Chakula kupata shida, hatuna hata shamba. Mimi mwenyewe nalia. Kwa sababu mwenyewe analia tu, ikifika saa ya baridi huwezi kaa nje. Mpaka kumvalisha manguo za baridi. Hii kitu baridi isiingilie kwa hii masikio. Ikiingilia huwezi lala hata. Sasa naomba tu usaidizi kwa Wakenya, kama wanaweza nisaidia mtoto aweze kupona. Sina mbele wala nyuma, niko tu.
The government of Kenya is determined to bring to an end this gender-based violence.
We must act swiftly and decisively to protect the lives and the dignity of every woman and girl in Kenya.
A very good evening to you. Thank you very much for watching KBC Channel 1. You are in time for you're in time for Easy Friday this evening. My name is Betty Kiptum. Welcome to the program.
All right, many thanks indeed. A comprehensive coverage of the news that's been shaping up tonight. Of fallen soldiers, 28 officers have so far lost their lives. And the government says that the orphans and the widows of these officers will be given work to do in the public service, looking at that and much more. And speaking about comrades, President William Ruto is urging universities to allow university students to do their end of semester examinations, saying exams come first. Details of this and other stories are coming up in not too long. But first things first, this are the highlights on today's Easy Friday.
Gone but cherished.
Security officers unite to honor their 28 colleagues who died in the line of duty this year.
I appeal to universities to allow students to sit for their end of semester examination while awaiting the resumption of full disbursements once the process gives direction on the matter.
Prioritize exams. President William Ruto asks universities to let students sit for exams, pledges government will settle school fees arrears.
And riding the SGR. Members of Parliament take the train to Mombasa for the East African Legislative Assembly Games in a bid to cut costs.
Well, this is Easy Friday. My name is Betty Kiptum and Brian Muraro is my colleague, or rather our colleague on the sign language interpretation.
All right, my name is John Kago. Welcome to Easy Fridays. Take it away.
Right, President William Ruto has urged all institutions of higher learning to allow learners to sit for their end of semester examinations regardless of fees arrears as the government strives to disburse the remaining funds.
While speaking during the graduation ceremony of Scott Christian University in Machakos County, the president called for patience among the management of universities and TVETs, saying the issue of late disbursement will be resolved soon once the High Court gives its direction.
Right, the new university funding model was suspended by the High Court in October this year.
President William Ruto has urged public universities to allow students utilizing the new funding model to sit for their end-year examinations as they await the full disbursement of funds. Speaking at the Scott Christian University graduation ceremony in Machakos County, Ruto on Friday advised universities to exercise patience as the government works through the challenges brought about by the transition to the new student-centered higher education financing model.
Spirit of human consideration is especially critical given the additional challenge posed by litigation, which could disrupt the implementation of the model. Therefore, I appeal to universities to allow students to sit for their end-of-semester examination while awaiting the resumption of full disbursements once the process gives direction on the matter.
The head of state further defended the new higher education funding model, saying it will benefit more students, especially from the vulnerable backgrounds in both public and private institutions.
We cannot continue the way we have been doing before. It is not right that we continue a model that has created huge debts. And that is why I am deliberate, I am intentional, and I am focused on making sure that we have a model that does not again take our university education to where we have it with 120 billion debt.
Meanwhile, President Ruto has signed into law the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2024, paving way for the disbursement of 387 billion shillings to the county governments.
This act will provide for the horizontal sharing of revenue among county governments, thereby enabling the equitable distribution of resources across 47 counties.
This divides the equitable share of revenue of 387.4 billion shillings among the counties in accordance with the revenue sharing formula in force under Article 217 of the Constitution. For Easy Friday, I'm Gladys Mongai.
Or now 28 security officers have died in the line of duty in the last 1 year.
Speaking during this year's commemoration service for fallen National Police Service and Prison Service officers at the National Police College Embakasi campus, Prime Cabinet Secretary, that is Musalia Mudavadi, said as part of the efforts to alleviate bereaved families, that is their financial burden, the government has already started absorbing qualified orphans, widows and widowers of the departed officers into public service.
Well, Mudavadi also said the government is committed to improving the welfare and working conditions of officers. That's through housing, medical service, counseling, as well as a prompt settlement of claims and compensation for departed officers.
On Friday morning, top government officials led by Prime Cabinet Secretary, who is also acting Interior CS Musalia Mudavadi, and Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja joined families and friends of fallen officers at a commemoration service held at the National Police College Embakasi campus.
Nilipoteza mwanangu katika mkasa wa bomu kule Mandera mwezi wa 3 tarehe 25. Leo tumekuja kusherehekea maisha yao. Ile benefit inaongeza kupata kwa sababu katika maisha ya sasa elimu ndio msingi wa kila kitu.
When the parliament resumes, that's one of the bills that we would like to be passed by parliament. It's about the welfare of our officers. It's about the welfare of the families that are left behind by our fallen heroes.
It was here that the National Police Service and Kenya prisons revealed that 28 officers have been killed in the line of duty in the last 1 year.
To the fallen officers, we salute you. To the families, we stand with you. And to all gathered here, let their sacrifice be a reminder of the true meaning of the service and honor.
Let us bind ourselves together with a new bond of service to make our country brighter, safer, and more hopeful. And in so doing, let us honor the memory of our fallen heroes every day.
Musalia Mudavadi and Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja expressed the government's commitment to improving the welfare of the National Police Service as well as Kenya prisons' families, fallen heroes and heroines for the sacrifice they made to the nation.
A befitting tribute is to honor these heroes and heroines for their courage, selfless service, and ultimate sacrifice to make Kenya a better place for all of us.
We are coming up with a Veterans Bill. And in that Veterans Bill, that's where actually the fallen heroes, the families, the widows are going to get immense support.
We have gotten support so that we can be able to equip our officers better, and therefore even in kitting of our officers so that the officers can be able to execute their mandate.
Mudavadi also noted that the government is committed to engage insurers to ensure prompt settlement of their claims and compensations for the fallen officers' families.
Let me reaffirm the government's commitment to improving the welfare and working conditions of all officers and their families.
When we lose officers whose only responsibility is to ensure that our sons and daughters do exams in a conducive environment, and then we have characters within us who take it upon themselves to take away their lives. I think we need to really call on all of us as a country and ask, where is our nationhood? Where is our patriotism?
Kenyans were also urged to collaborate with security agencies to help fight crime in the country.
And Environment Cabinet Secretary Adan Duale has warned factories over non-compliance with environmental regulations.
While speaking before the Senate Committee on Delegated Legislation, the Cabinet Secretary highlighted the unchecked mushrooming establishment and activities of factories across the country that lack proper waste management systems, further exacerbating environmental degradation.
The CS emphasized that factories and development agencies failing to adhere to environmental regulations risk immediate closure as the government steps up enforcement efforts to protect Kenyans from harmful wastes and emissions.
With the wastewater which is going also to the sea, a lot of developments in Mombasa Island, they don't have a waste or sewage management system. And I think NEMA can be able to come in and, the county government might be very lenient because they are collecting rates from these people. But I know NEMA can come very hard on them, so that we deal with this menace, because we have fish. We are eating fish from that sea, and the fish is exposed to such hazardous waste, and therefore very dangerous for human consumption.
Building huge apartments, and they're not providing a sewerage system. What do? They dig deep into the soil and make sure that affluent sewage goes to Nairobi River. And I've given firm instructions to NEMA that we should all close the ground. I think we will become very popular, but NEMA has to change.
The issue of scrap metals recycling within the villages, because you find they have established their factories within the villages, and to an extent that they are also causing pollution to the members of the public.
The factories, cement is there, iron is there, everything, name it, and all the pollution from Nairobi and from the builders. Kindly intervene in Mavoko.
I have evidence that Mavoko is the most polluted part of this area, and we can look at it. The Kenyans who live there, they have a right to the constitution, a right of clean air. The same with the factories. Yeah, I think we'll have a sitting with our agriculture.
Now, cooperative societies and SACCOs have been urged to collaborate and have their data on a shared platform for easy access.
Well, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development, that's Wycliffe Oparanya, says that the ministry also seeks to collaborate with the Cooperative University in developing a SACCOs central platform that will see the centralization of SACCOs for a streamlined cooperative sector.
Speaking during the 9th graduation ceremony held at the Cooperative University of Kenya's main campus, Karen, Nairobi, the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development, Wycliffe Oparanya, urged the 2,220 graduates to tap into the opportunities available in over 30,000 cooperatives in Kenya.
We have over 30,000 cooperative movement in this country. Most of them have had problems of governance. But the fact that now we have a resource that is being channeled out there with the support of the university, these people should be able to enter within the cooperative movement to be able to improve in terms of management and capacity building within the management, so that the issue of governance becomes an issue of the past.
Oparanya also called on cooperative societies and SACCO to join one platform, noting that the benefits of a shared platform will see cost reduction for software, hardware and data management, enhanced protection against cyber threats, as well as improved service delivery and access to global payment systems, fostering financial inclusion.
We need a platform where wherever you are able to access on issues to do with any SACCO, any cooperative society that you require. A platform that you don't need to travel to Nairobi, to the headquarters, to get information on any society. You are able to get that information wherever you are.
Acting Chancellor and the University Council Chairperson Dr. Jeremy Bundi reassured the university's willingness to deliver the ministry's need for a SACCO central platform.
We always give guidance and support to the university management to develop programs which are going to develop the platform for development of cooperatives. The digital platform, as the Cabinet Secretary has indicated, is very important for development of the SACCOs.
All right, then, and right about now we head over to Kwale County, specifically that's Lunga sub-county, where there's the Wanga Mashame Irrigation Project, where our reporter Abdiaziz Hashim is on standby.
Indeed, he has been following up on stories on matters irrigation, and we just want to find out what is going on in Kwale County. Abdiaziz Hashim, over to you to tell us the latest from Kwale County and what we're expecting tonight.
Kago, if you're guessing where we are right now, we're in between a lush green jungle located at the Jacaranda Hotel. And of course, this evening, our focus will be on the various irrigation schemes fronted by the administration under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. You do know the grand plan is to ensure the country is food secure and agriculture, so also to revive and recuperate the country's economy. We'll be speaking a little bit later on with none other than the Principal Secretary, State Department for Irrigation, that is CPA Fantas Kimotho, will be joining us. PS, good evening.
Good evening, good evening. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, PS. And of course, we need to hand you over back to the studio, of course, to continue informing our viewers on the stories that are making headlines. But when you come back, those will be our key areas when it comes to the irrigation in the country that powers agriculture. For now, back to you, Betty and Kago.
All right, thank you so much, Abdiaziz Hashim. We'll be joining him in not too long, where I'm speaking to the Principal Secretary, State Department for Irrigation, that's Fantas Kimotho, specifically focusing on the Wanga Mashame irrigation project. It's expected to provide jobs for over 6,000 Kenyans. We are looking at that in more detail, but that's when we return.
Right, let's take that quick break. We'll be back.
Did you know that as a pension scheme member, you have several rights that protect your savings and ensure your future is secure? First, once you exit your scheme, the law provides that you receive payment within 30 days, and you can transfer your benefits from one scheme to another within 60 days. You have options on exit to take cash, defer, or transfer your benefits. You also have the right to access and interrogate scheme documentation, attend annual general meetings, receive annual benefit statements, and nominate beneficiaries. Further, your pension savings are safeguarded by law, so scheme funds cannot be used to settle loans. Member benefits are protected from execution or attachment, even in cases of bankruptcy or death. The Retirement Benefits Authority plays a crucial role in managing your scheme. We supervise continuously, receiving quarterly and annual submissions from trustees and service providers. Your pension is in safe hands. Know your rights and trust Retirement Benefits Authority to keep your future secure. For more information, visit our website www.rba.go.ke, call our toll-free line on 0800 720 300 or email info@rba.go.ke. Secure your future, secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Star 570 hash. Option 1 kuna PS5 na ni full package na inakuja na JBL Party Box. Hiyo boom experience pia iko.
Wewe bro, nipatie hiyo risiti ya items.
Wazi wazi.
Cheki, mimi sina dozi unafaa.
Excuse, niletee risiti yangu ya items. Asante.
Ni pesa ngapi? 3,000.
Hebu nisaidie na ile risiti ya items.
Nimeshinda mili. I'm the latest millionaire. Marry me, baby.
Yes! Guys, nimeshinda laptop. Nimeshinda TV 50 inches.
Nice na Receipt Legit promotion kutoka KRA. Download Receipt Legit app, scan QR code kwenye receipt yako, ujishindie zawadi kem kila wiki. Kuna grand prize ya milioni 3 kwa washindi watatu, milioni kila mmoja.
I've been to Dubai, China, and now off to the US. Courtesy of eCitizen, I managed to get my passport just in time for my first conference abroad. Even you guys can get it. Link up with eCitizen. Service below stress.
Service below stress. Service below stress.
Say bye-bye to FOMO, the fear of missing out, by downloading the KBC Online app that gives you access to everything you love. Get the latest news, sport, music, entertainment news, live radio, and so much more at the palm of your hands. To get the app, simply search KBC Mobile Digital App in your Google Play or App Store and download the app. Catch what you want, anytime, anywhere. Stay connected. Stay ahead with KBC Mobile Digital App.
So if you don't get any parts, just do the old parts. Can I get you say yo? Yes. Whatever you say.
Let's begin with the concept of parenting and how it either boosts or affects the esteem of a child.
So a parent's affirmation to a child will either determine the competence and the self-worth of that child.
Yeah. We laid my mom to rest early this year. I remember whispering to her, you know, in the middle of poverty, in the middle of undecisiveness, in the middle of all that chaos that was happening in my life, that one day I'll make you proud.
If you have both parents and they have a warped esteem,
yes.
watakuambukiza.
Okay. Check to see where you belong. Check to see who belongs in your circle.
Welcome back. You are watching Easy Friday.
Right, a continued coverage of the news that's shaping up tonight. Now, the Kenyan parliamentary team are set to take part in this year's edition of the East African Legislative Assembly Games has arrived safely in Mombasa. This is, of course, ahead of the games that kick off on Saturday afternoon.
The games will be officially opened by President William Ruto at the Mbaraki grounds. The move by the MPs to use the SGR is part of austerity measures aimed at cutting costs.
Early Friday morning, members of the National Assembly and senators make their way to the SGR Nairobi terminus, sharing their views and expectations on the trip and the task ahead.
Bunge ilisema kwamba tumie train. Unajua watu ni wengi wenye wanataka kwenda huko. So wamesema watu watumie train. Tunafikiria kwa sababu pia bunge imeweka pesa hizi.
We will be in Mombasa for almost 2 weeks, attending the East African Legislative Assembly Games, where Kenya this year is the host. We will be meeting teams from parliaments of the East African community, and for the first time this year, Somalia will be represented in the games.
Moments later, they board the SGR train ready for the approximately 472-kilometer distance trip. The train departed at noon. It was all fun, with everyone seemingly enjoying the journey.
Our experience is very good so far. Huku nje tuna enjoy kuangalia mazingira ya Kenya. Vile Kenya ni kurembo sana, ni very beautiful. Tumeangalia sehemu zingine zikiwa zimekauka, zingine ziko.
Songs and dances were the order of the day as the train meandered the lower eastern and later the coastal landscape. In Mombasa, the team was warmly welcomed by more songs and dances. The legislators will, under the Bunge FC signature, face EALA at Mbaraki grounds in their first game.
Tutakuwa tunacheza mpira na michezo mingine kadhaa. Wabunge wote wenye katika ushirika wa Afrika, na Afrika Kusini, watakuwa wote kule.
Tunadhani ni vizuri sana kuwa na tournament kama hizi kwa vile inatuleta, tunakuja kwa pamoja. Tunakuja pamoja sisi sote. Kuna nchi zinazowakilishwa ni pamoja na Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, Southern Sudan. Zikiwa nchi 9, tunaweza kujaribu kutengeza economic block yetu
Kenya will take part in various sporting disciplines, which include football, athletics, volleyball, basketball, netball, and darts for persons with disabilities. Athletics, football, and tug of war will be held at the KPM Baraki grounds, while basketball, netball, and volleyball and darts will be held at the Aga Khan and Tononoka grounds.
Rightly, lots happening in Mombasa, and still staying in Mombasa. Kenya Broadcasting Corporation Coast Region staff held an end-of-year and farewell party for retirees.
The occasion presented a platform to reflect on achievements and milestones in the past 1 year, and at the same time doubled as a farewell bid to retiring colleagues.
Well, speaking during that particular event, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation's Human Resources Manager Daniel Okoth commended the staff for their hard work and resilience throughout the year.
At the same time, he encouraged the staff to remain collaborative, pledging the corporation's commitment to fostering a supportive work environment.
The MD should like the KBC Mombasa branch to be a model branch in terms of revenue generation. What it means is should like to see us being self-sustaining in terms of our operations. So from the energy we saw, I believe we will be there. KBC as an organization will be able to benchmark with the branch, and also this is a good move. As I come today, we'd like to see how you are doing this, so that whatever you are doing, we can also emulate at the headquarters. There's no single society where you'll face no challenges. So whatever challenges we have, whatever challenges we have been experiencing, I would like us to sit down, brainstorm, discuss, and see how to solve them. Our commitment as management is to support you, and going forward, please feel free to contact us at any time, either directly or procedurally through the controller. We'll really appreciate.
Nimefurahi huu mwaliko niliopewa na nimeufurahikia ushirikiano mlionipa wakati huo. Leo nimeona bado uko. Mapenzi yazidi kudumu kati yetu na tuweze kushirikiana zaidi. Mungu nanyi awafikishe pale ambapo leo tumefika. Nanyi pia muje mtoke mkiwa mna furaha kama hivi sisi tulivyo na furaha.
And to tax matters now, businesses that are yet to onboard their services on the electronic tax invoice system will be ineligible to claim any expenses, as is the norm during the tax filing period. The Kenya Revenue Authority is calling on business owners to leverage the ongoing campaign to onboard services on e-Teams.
Well, the taxman has partnered with KBC for the Jinaisnari City Legit campaign that seeks to not only enhance compliance but also reward taxpayers with cash and other giveaways. The campaign was in Kisumu Friday, with the Western Region tour expected to end Saturday in Siaya.
Download app ya City Legit na inawaka ikashika 20K. So na nyinyi pia mjaribu mtajishindia.
As you are all aware that there's a public notice that already went out, which is informing the business entities of the auto-population of the VAT return, which means that traders will be able to file their VAT return without them inputting the invoices. With this, we are encouraging traders to be compliant. By being compliant, we mean that you must onboard either Teams or e-Teams, and if you don't, you will not be able to claim any expense on any invoice that has been generated either outside e-Teams or Teams.
Now, volunteer organizations have called for support from the government to help them achieve their goal of service to humanity.
While speaking during the 8th edition of the Volunteer of the Year Award, the stakeholders disclosed that volunteerism bridges the gap in service delivery in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, that's the SDGs, which focus on reducing inequality, achieving quality education, and mitigating climate change, among others.
Davis Otieno, Remy Keegan, and Evan Chen have been recognized for their efforts in making Kenya a better place. The Volunteer of the Year Awards also recognized Mung'aro Empowerment Center, Tuajali Wajane Kwale, and KMTC Sigowet for their impact in society. Social Protection Principal Secretary Joseph Mutari said the government is committed to providing necessary support to individuals and organizations engaged in social programs.
Ministry of Labor and how it is created, whoever sits on top of that ministry tend to give more attention to labor than social issues. But when we come to social protection, there is again more attention to cash transfer than volunteering. We are just saying we have grown, we are now teenagers, but we are looking for that keen attention.
It is true that the attention has not been there. It is true, it's a fact. Yeah, it's a fact. But now I think I'm happy, I feel more relieved because I'm going to make sure that now we work even closer with His Excellency and all of you to make sure that we achieve what we are supposed to do on volunteerism.
However, he urged learning institutions to strengthen volunteerism clubs in order to inculcate a culture of giving and self-drive among the young population.
The potential of volunteerism, we must adopt it as a social behavior. This means fostering a culture where volunteering becomes second nature to individuals, to families, institutions, and communities.
The Voya is more than just an award. It is a testament to the power of volunteerism and incredible impact. It celebrates the act of kindness, dedication, perseverance, and inspiring others to join this transformative movement.
The Volunteer of the Year Awards is a partnership between the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection and the Volunteer Involving Organization Society. Kasi Chanamasha, Easy Friday.
And
yeah, take it away.
well, we now want to take you to Kwale County for that interview with the Principal Secretary in charge of Irrigation, our very own Abdiaziz Hashim, as he had told us earlier, was going to give us that particular conversation. And here it is. Abdiaziz, over to you.
Well, of course, we are back here to the scenic views here at the Jacaranda Hotel. It is this lush green at the middle of the Jacaranda jungle. We are coming to you live from Kwale County, close to the even coastal strip of the devolved unit itself. And of course, this evening, we're focusing not only on the country's agricultural irrigations projects that are being focused around the country, but in terms of financing and resources, also PPPs, how crucial are they to ensure that these irrigation schemes are realized at the end of the day? Once more, joining us this evening is none other than the Principal Secretary, State Department for Irrigation, CPA Ephantus Kimotho. PS, thank you for joining us once more.
Thank you for having us here.
Okay, PS, we start on that note. Tell us about how many irrigation schemes we do have in the coastal region in totality, roughly.
Okay, in the coastal region, we have around 12 irrigation schemes, community irrigation schemes. That's from Bura in Tana River County. We also have a Hola, still in Tana River County. We have we've had come to inspect here today in Kwale, the Wagamachame irrigation scheme, and we have several others in Kilifi and Taita Taveta County. Yeah.
And approximately, given that you have just told us how many projects there are here in the coastal region, in terms of financial capacity, how much has the national government at least ensured that it has been injected to these schemes across the coastal region?
On average, I would say in terms of investment by the national government in this coastal region, it is estimated to be over 30 billion. Because I say that because like we have the Mwache project,
yes,
which is currently ongoing. Mwache by itself is a 13 billion project. It's going to have a storage capacity of 136 million cubic. And then it also has a lower check dam for controlling silt, which is 8 billion cubic, and that will mainly be used for irrigation using solar. So then again, we have the Bura irrigation scheme, which is approximately 7 billion. Is a big irrigation scheme. Now, before it was using it was diesel pumped.
Yeah.
Then later it was pumps were being pumped by using electricity, but now it's a gravity system. So we had to invest more and also expand the scheme. Before it was a scheme that was only having a crop cover of 12,000. And that 12,000 was still not, the water was still not sufficient because of the cost of pumping diesel. So we were only cropping around 6,000. But now, with the gravity irrigation scheme that we've put on board, we should be able to do 40,000 acres. And still, there's an opportunity of doing more when we get another intake to cover almost the tune of 100,000 acres. Yeah.
And in terms of beneficiaries, because we witnessed today in Waga Machame irrigation scheme where 6,000 farmers as well as 800 households are said to benefit from such kind of scheme. So in terms of beneficiaries in the larger coastal region, how many people are we looking at?
Actually today, like where we are, it will, the 6,000 is more of the job that will create.
Yes.
In terms of farmers who will benefit is around 1,200. But generally, in terms of the whole coastal region, we are talking of nothing less than 30,000 farmers who will be immediate beneficiaries. In terms of job creation, as I said, 1 acre on average gives you 5 jobs. So you're talking over 150,000 jobs. That is from the community irrigation schemes that we are doing. But also in this coastal region also, we are doing also commercialization, which again that will enhance even much more. Like in Bura, we approximately 94,000 acres. We want to put it under commercialization, whereby we'll be giving private sector who will be under PPP, under the PPP program. Then also in Galana, we have 200,000 acres, which we're also putting under production through also a private party. So by so doing, that means now even in terms of the impact for that, those farms under commercialization, they're also doing a lot of mechanization. So in terms of jobs created, maybe a ratio of 1 to 2. So we're also talking about an average, estimated from the 2 I've mentioned, at an average of 300,000 acres. We're talking about another approximately 600,000 jobs.
And of course, when it comes to that, you've just talked about the PPPs. How crucial is that, and what are some of the misconceptions when it comes to PPPs coming into aiding various key mega projects spearheaded by the national administration?
PPP, as I said, the private-public partnership, it comes to actually help the government do what they could not have done, probably because of the minimal resources. So actually, it's because PPP actually comes to actually do what we ought to have done. So it's actually, they only do what is within our plan. Like for example, right now, as the State Department of Irrigation, we have a plan to put 1 million acres under irrigation, so that we can be able to address the issue of food security in the country. We can also be able to reduce the food imports in the country. We can also be able to increase food exports, so that we can also be able to strengthen our dollar and also strengthen our economy. By so doing, because of the limited resources we have, for example, in the State Department, in the country at large, you find like in the State Department currently, we have a budget of around 20 billion per year. But in terms of for us to be able to put the 1 million acres under irrigation and also have enough storage, because for you to do that, you also need to have enough storage. That is in terms of dams. You need to harvest and store enough water through dams. Again, for us to do the 1 million acres, approximately you also need slightly over 1 billion cubic liters of water. So there we are talking about nothing less than 1.5 trillion in terms of investment. So if you compare that with the current budget you have, you realize we may not be able to achieve that objective. And so the easiest way is actually to get a private party who comes to do that. So they are very positive if you look at it from such perspective. Like now in Galana, we are putting 200,000 acres under production. That 200,000 acres by itself, from the projection, will generate over time. That years will be generate over 12 trillion. So over that period of time, over that years. So because it's a list of around that years. So if you look at it from that perspective, in terms of the income that will be generated, the taxes that will be generated from that, people who will be employed and they're paying taxes. So it's going to have a very huge economic impact. Then on the other hand, also for us to be able to do that production, we also have to do the dam. The dam again, we're getting a private party who is willing to do that dam. But for him to do the dam again, he needs an offtake guarantee. We may not be in a position to give the offtake guarantee as government, because again, that's like contingent liability.
Yes.
But now with another private party doing the production, he's able to give the offtake guarantee. So by so doing, it's a win-win situation for us. And at the end of the day, we'll create jobs for our people. We'll address the issue of food security. We'll reduce the food imports, which actually is quite huge. Currently, we are importing over 500 billion worth of food every year. So that means even if we were to invest 1.5 trillion in irrigation infrastructure and the water storage, that means in a matter of 3 years, that's money that can be recouped in one or another.
And if you're just joining us, this is the Principal Secretary, State Department for Irrigation, CPA Fantas Kimotho, just bringing us up to speed with the various irrigation schemes across the coastal region and the country at large. It is exactly 40 minutes past the hour. We need to take a short commercial break, but don't go too far. We still continue with our interview in terms of irrigation schemes across the country. So do not go too far.
Christmas ni sahi ishafika na ni kubwa kubwa. Kweli? Hii Kristi ni bomba na Blue Santa kupitia star 570 hash option 1. Rudia. Star 570 hash option 1. Iko PlayStation 5 na 55 TV na iko 500,000 Kenyan shillings. Nambuzi moja? Nambuzi. 1 million Kenyan shillings na Samsung S24 Ultra. Nambuzi moja? Iko 2 million Kenyan shillings na iPhone 16 Pro Max. Nambuzi mbili? Blue Santa amekuja na zawadi kibao. Nani kubwa kubwa? Hapa kuna ndogo ndogo. Hapa Christmas ni bomba.
Have a complaint, or is something just not adding up with your pension scheme? It's easy to file a complaint directly with the Retirement Benefits Authority, and it's absolutely free. Just visit www.complaints.rba.go.ke and follow the prompts to file your complaint. RBA will acknowledge your complaint within 7 working days. Your complaint will be reviewed and addressed within 30 working days. Your time and peace of mind are important, and anyone dissatisfied with a decision of RBA can appeal to the Independent Retirement Benefits Appeals Tribunal. RBA is here to listen and resolve your complaint promptly, because your retirement should be stress-free. For more information, visit our website www.rba.go.ke, call our toll-free line 0800 720 300 or email info@rba.go.ke. Secure your future. Secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Mamlaka ya ukusanyaji ushuru nchini inakuletea kampeni ya umma ya G-Nice na Risiti Legit. Thibitisha risiti yako ukitumia app ya Risiti Legit, upate nafasi ya kuibuka mshindi wa zawadi kemkem kama vile shilingi milioni 1 pesa taslim, laptops, televisheni ya inchi 50, smartphones na zawadi zingine. Ijumaa tarehe 6 Disemba, msafara wetu utaingia maeneo ya Kisumu, Kenyatta Ground, Kibuye, Mamboleo, Car Wash, Manyata, Nyalenda State na Kondole. Pata app ya Risiti Legit kwa Google Play Store au App Store kwa maelezo ya kuingia katika mashindano ya Risiti Legit. G-Nice na Risiti Legit. KRA, tulipe ushuru tujitegemee.
Wewe ni mama kanisa. A mother must fight for her children.
Need to get back to the office.
I hope sijamfukuza.
Are you planning a coup? It's possible.
Have you spoken to Alice?
You know that.
I don't trust him.
Can't be the victim here. What is your game plan?
You're working with Black Kensho. What? Oh, umekuwa bubu. Don't you know that I'm your mother? I'm not even sure if you are.
Hello?
I can't find Alice. What do you want? Just clean your mess.
Alinyang'anya Jane kukaka kidogo ndio yashachukua tena Trish.
Lakini mimi kuna kazi nataka anifanyie.
Ameniambia ni shida fulani ya kuvunja sheria kidogo.
Hiyo mimi siwezi.
Mimi ni Mkristo.
Jackie, umeongana ukatoka polisi, si ndio?
Mbona babako anachunguzwa bila kwake kuna polisi toka jana?
Hizi makosa tu kidogo ilitokea. Hata hiyo mambo gani mimi sijui.
Hii picha nilitoa kwa kibeti yake. Ni uongee na Mama Jabali, arivasi ile kitu yenye alifanyia Alex.
Amenoki. Si hata Jackie kikandani. Kuna Sara? Mungu ni nani?
Wewe achana na Jackie. Niko na mipango na yeye.
Mimi mipango yako, huyo ni mipango ya kumchukua umrudishe nda.
Well, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We're still coming to you live from Kwale County. Matters to do with irrigation. You don't know how vital it is. It powers agriculture, which is the backbone of the country's gross domestic product and economic growth, which the Better program run by the administration, the current administration, is banking on. And of course, we're still here with the Principal Secretary State Department for Irrigation, CPA Fantas Kimotho. We were talking about earlier on, PS, in terms of some of the major irrigation schemes we do have here in the coastal region. One example is Galana Kulalu. Tell us about how private investors have been allocated land to farm in that scheme.
These normally a private investor through the PPP is something we call the private initiated proposal. They would apply and to the contracting authority, in this case, the National Irrigation Authority. Then the National Irrigation Authority will be able, even as the State Department of Irrigation, together with the National Irrigation Authority, will be able to look at the proposal and see whether it aligns with the government plan. That is a strategy plan for the State Department, and also strategy plan for a National Irrigation Authority, and also the bigger, better plan for the current administration. So if it aligns, then we go to the next stage, which is now to evaluate the proposal, and later we're able to now engage the PPP Directorate, who normally give an approval for us to go to the project development phase. At that point, we are able to now have a commercial agreement and commercial negotiation with the private party, where we agree on the terms in terms of how much they'll be paying for order tariff, how much they'll be paying for the land lease, and also over time things like capping the prices, just to ensure that they're actually addressing the issue of food security, if it's how much they will sell a bag of maize and those kind of things. But some of the negotiations that we end up having, just to make sure that it's also something that is actually beneficial. And in this case, for example, in Galana, for example, they did a trial, and from the trial, 1 acre comfortably produced that 5 bags. So meaning when you do 2 seasons, 1 acre will give you 70 bags. So if you had to put just 100,000 acres under that means it will give you 7 million bags of maize. And currently, as you know, in the country, we have a shortage of, we had a deficit of around 10 million bags. So with these rains and the issue of subsidy fertilizer, I think we've had a good production. That's why you can even see the price of unga started going down. But previously, we used to have a deficit of around 10 million bags. So with Galana itself, that means it will address that deficit to the tune of 70%. So those are the things that we're talking about. When you reduce the amount of food we're importing, then again, we also reduce the pressure of the dollar. They're saying, let's just limit ourselves to importing just what we don't have. Things like fuel, but not food, whereby we have arable land, we have water, and that's the strategy we have as the State Department of Irrigation.
And then again, PS, we have witnessed this emerging trend where some section of the populace are objecting or showing their defiance towards certain key projects even before they are started at the end of the day. So as a ministry, running these vital irrigation schemes, some already running, others are coming up, how do you ensure that these schemes at the end of the day are community owned and driven?
So the first thing, before we establish any irrigation scheme, we do a lot of public participation. Then with the farmers and the groupings, because even when doing the irrigation scheme, some of the challenges we find is well leaves. So with that public participation and people understanding the needs of that and what you're doing as a government, then we're able to solve most of those issues. Then after that, immediately we form the farmers into groups. We call them the Irrigation Water Users Associations. That Irrigation Water Users Association has several blocks based on the farmers, how the farmers are. You know, when you do these irrigation schemes, you find we normally do the main canal, then after that there are the secondary canals, which now go to the land of the people. So each secondary canal is formed into a group. So those group now, we form those group way before we start the project. And after that, we also at times require them to do a small contribution just to show their commitment and ownership. And with that now, that brings a lot of sustainability even going forward. Then after that, we also engage the leaders a lot. So that way, we're able to, basically stakeholders engagement is very key towards the success of an irrigation scheme. That is even, especially after it is complete. Again, another key stakeholder is the county government, because as you know, agriculture is devolved, so, and they have the extension services. So when we start the project, we again engage the county, so that when we have those project implementation team as the project is going on, they're also part and parcel of it. So that by the time you're completing, they also refer their extension services to the particular project. Yeah.
Going back to what you've just said, we're talking about collaboration between the national and the county government, two levels of the government itself, in terms of ensuring that key projects, like for example, one is Wangamachame, if it is complete, you will hand it over successfully to Kwale County government. So what key parameters will you put in place to ensure that those projects at the end of the day are working as it was intended to?
Yeah, so what you normally do, like now for the first year, immediately after you are done, like now we intend to do a benchmark trip with the farmers here, and we'll be working together with the county, so that the farmers can be shown how well to do, how well to farm, how to maximize yield. And in that process, we are working with the county and also the extension officers. So for a whole year, we work together, even after the project is over. A year or two, we continue working together, because we also have experts in irrigation, water management. So they work together with the county government and the farmers. Then from there, at some point, the irrigation water associations, they're allowed to also professionally engage an operator. So this operator will ensure efficiency. And that's why at that point, that's why the farmers now, when they start getting money, they pay a little bit of some money to go towards operational maintenance. So that now ensures operational efficiency. Then the county, on the other hand, their work is mainly to ensure these extension officers, they give them some input. The national government already is giving the fertilizer. But again, farmers need some other inputs like seeds and the likes. So also there are small things like, not really small, but at times the infrastructure inside, at times we work together with the county, so that farmers, when they have the produce, they also can be able to get the produce out to the market. Then also things like a processing, a milling plant. Like now in this project where we just did this is a rice project. So again, for the farmers to actually be able to derive the benefit, they again need a milling plant. So like now in this, the county has actually even bought a milling plant in readiness for that project. So there's always a number of collaborations that we do with the county to ensure all this goes to the benefit of the Mwananchi. Yeah.
And PS, you're well aware, at this day and age, accountability and transparency is everything, because when it comes to the ensuring that the public coffers are well utilized, accountability and transparency is very key. So the question comes in then, these various projects we have witnessed, even some of them stalled, becoming white elephant projects. At the end of the day, how do you ensure that Machame irrigation and various other irrigations like Galana Kulalu, at the end of the day, are value for money?
Yeah, you see, like let me start with Wangamachame. Wangamachame, as I said, one thing that we've done is training the farmers. And the farmers, they're actually very eager to do it. And we have both groups. There's a group we call Irrigation Water Users Association, then also we also have the cooperative. And we keep on engaging these cooperatives in terms of, so that now where we have a farmer who cannot be able to do the farming, but he has the water, we're also able to help them lease out the land. Because if we don't do that, then that means that farmer will not be paying for the water, and in the process, the sustainability of the scheme becomes a challenge. So those are some of the arrangements that at times we do, just making sure, first of all, each and every farmer understands the importance. So if you can't be able to farm, maybe because of your age, then we're also able to, we try and encourage them to come with a leasing framework. So by so doing now, we ensure the whole piece of land is under production. Once under production, even then we have the cooperative, which now helps in aggregation. Then we also make sure that these people have a market. When you have a market, then it means also farmers are motivated to even produce more. So you can see, like today, the farmers are very eager. Actually, most of them, they are eager. They are ready to start preparing the land. They're just waiting for the water. And as a contractor committed today, in the next 2 weeks, they should be having water. So that enthusiastic that we saw with the farmers, that by itself can tell you we've done a lot of capacity building, and these are people who are ready to uptake the project immediately.
And of course, tell us about the grand plan. Why is the government focusing on irrigation? You do know we're struggling to reach where we can clearly say we are food secure as a country. We're getting towards that particular goal. So what are these grand plan that have been put in place to ensure that this is realized at the end of the day?
You see, food security is a key factor. Even this government actually has put out agriculture as one of the key pillars. And even looking at the global trends, like when the war in Ukraine happened, it affected many countries. And many countries even outside started looking at food security as an issue, saying, let's first of all make sure that we are food secure as a country to avoid such. Because that already made the prices of the food go up. So it's because of such things. And as I said earlier, we're importing over 500 billion food, yet we have arable land. 80% of our land is arable land. We just need water. And with water alone, and we have a lot of water. We have a lot of, Tana River down here has a lot of water in terms of, and all of it flows to Indian Ocean. So that's what they're saying, why can't we tap that water? That's why we are doing efforts to tap that water, use it for Bura irrigation scheme, tap that water, use it for whole irrigation scheme. And we've seen the estimate in terms of the flow, there's insufficient flow. That's why we also plan to do the high grand fall, which will be tapping of 5.6 billion. That will take time, but it's still in the plan. Then when we talk about these other rivers in the western region, we have Luanzoia River, which again has a lot of water. All this drain to Lake Victoria. Then we have Kuja River, which again drains to that. We have Nyando River, which most of the time, whenever it rains, there are always floods. So actually we'll be addressing two issues. We are controlling floods, but at the same time, we control floods, but at the same time, we harness that water, harvest it, and use it for production use it in a productive way to help us address the issue of food security. So actually is a key agenda even for this government to, because one, it will help us economically and also help address also a big social issue and a climatic issue.
And you're talking about a very vital commodity there, water, which is very key, especially for irrigation in the country. So what plans have you put in place to ensure that in Wagawachame we have seen River Umba redirected? So what are you going to do to ensure that this water at the end of the day, not just here in Kwale County, but in various parts of the country, are stored to ensure that these irrigation schemes are realized?
Okay, I think that's where you found when this administration started, His Excellency the President came with a plan of the 100 dams.
Yes.
Some of the 100 dams, we later advertised 34 of them to go under PPP. Of the 34 dams, 22 are for the State Department of Water, 12 were for irrigation, State Department of Irrigation. Among the 12, those are the ones we are currently working on. One of them is Galana Kulal, which has almost 350 million cubic liters of water. We have another one called Radat in Baringo, which again will help a lot in expanding that area of irrigation in Pekera irrigation scheme, which currently we are cropping only 2,600 because of water. Yet with enough water, we can even go all the way to 12,000 acres. Then we have Lowat Dam in Turkana. Again, there we have vast land, but we just need water to tap. We need some just to tap the water. So those are the plans. We are trying to come up with the plans for the dams, and most of them we are doing them under PPP arrangement. Quite a number of them are at a very advanced stage. Like the one for Galana, it's a very advanced stage. The one for High Grand is after the project development phase. This is the one for Radat. Also, it's at an advanced stage. The one for Lowat, and also we have Boso Dam, which anytime His Excellency the President will be doing a groundbreaking for the same. Then also we have some of them which are actually ongoing, like Soimorunyi, which was started some times back. I think by next year May we should be able to complete it. Then we have Mwache Dam in this county, which again by sometimes early 2027 we should also be complete. So that solution for that is harnessing the water, and so that now we can be able to do irrigation. And irrigation is a solution to the food security, the issue of agriculture, because of the issue of climate change. So, and for us to do irrigation, we need to harness the water. So that's the plan. That's why we say we have a big plan to put 1 million acres under irrigation, and at the same time we have a big plan to store over 1 billion cubic liters of water. And in that plan, we have, like under irrigation, we have like 5 investment pathways. One is community, like what we did today in the Wagamachame, whereby you have a community irrigation scheme, which every year we are targeting around 40,000 acres. So in the remaining 8 years, we are targeting approximately 320,000 acres. Then we have the farmer-led irrigation development, whereby we are looking at individual farmers, whereby you are an individual farmer, but you are trying to extract water. So you're also helping you in means, maybe by helping you, giving you subsidized solar, that kind of a thing. Then also we have the big commercial farms, which we talked about here earlier, in Bura and Galana. That's a good example. Then we also have the ASALs. ASALs we are talking about where we don't have rivers like, we don't have permanent rivers. There we're talking about harnessing the water from the lagers. So we are doing check dams, and these check dams are going to help us harness water. And when we harness that water, we are going to use it for 3 things. One for domestic, some for agriculture. We are starting to introduce agropastoralism in some of the ASAL country, and the other now for feedlots, which are going to give us pasture for the livestock in the ASAL. We realize like last year livestock, we lost over 80% of our livestock because of lack of pasture.
Thank you so much, Piers. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. Thank you so much. And there you have it. That is the grand plan of the current administration through the State Department of Irrigation, spearheaded by the Principal Secretary, that is CPA Fantas Kimotho, when it comes to irrigation schemes across the country. For now, given that we have run out of time, we need to take in the scenic views of the lush green jacaranda jungles here in Kwale County. I want to hand you over to Kiptum and Kago. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much. This is Hashim. They are joining us from Kwale County. He has been speaking to the Principal Secretary, State Department for Irrigation. That's a fantastic Kimotho. They were assessing the Wagamachame irrigation project that's expected to provide over 6,000 jobs and irrigate over 1,200 acres. Good stuff happening there in Kwale County. Now, the key components include river training works, various intake structures, and much more. Thank you so much, Abdiaziz, for that interview with the Principal Secretary. That said, this is a feature love for every single Friday, and it's about the netizens.
Indeed, the savage netizens who are just throwing jabs and everything else on the internet. Well, netizens who have time and time again been involved in social media wars have demonstrated quite the unconventional style of communication.
Well, Hassan Joho, the Cabinet Secretary for Mining and Blue Economy, was about to feel the magnitude of these keyboard warriors' violence after threatening them.
The savage netizens with rolled up sleeves took him on unapologetically. Take a look.
It takes a little for netizens to suspend peace, for without violence, they are nothing.
It all started with Junet's remarks.
Mimi nina uhuru ya kusema chochote mimi nataka kusema. Huwezi kufunga mdomo yangu. Bana mdomo ni yangu.
Wool up, nigga. Wool up, wool up, wool up. Just wool up.
Amani to Junet. Sisi sasa tuko na midomo plus tuko jobless. We have nothing better to do. Want to get into a fight with people who have nothing to do? Then shortly after came Joho, who took the microphone and without rethinking went on and declared a keyboard war.
Kwa sababu ya kisiasa za kizembezembe, unaanza kusema they must fall. We will come for you, my friend. Tuko na mdomo kama wewe. Ukileta tunaleta. Ukichoma tunachoma.
My lord, I wonder.
Evidently, this case to the netizens seemed very much like the case of a neighbor crying more than the bereaved. Nick ready for the fight? Mwambieni, come baby come. We cannot be intimidated. Hatuuziwi woga.
Musitishwe! Musitishwe!
Pretty asked, ulisema tuko idol TikTok unafanya nini hapa?
What are you saying? What are you saying? What is he saying?
Karaoke retorted, he is a TikTok buddy. Guards who seem to return the threatening favor. Tukikutana kwa ground, hiyo kitu itatutoka.
Wacha nilie kwanza. Oi! Oi! Ai! Oi!
Tamara V reassuringly, we are coming for you, Joho.
Makofi.
Stella Engard, unatishia nani?
I don't want peace. I want problems, always.
Main shift surprised at the escalation of the exchange route. Hii Kenya, watu hawalali.
Ulisikia wapi? Ulisikia wapi?
Kariuki, unatulecture kama nani wewe?
Bwana, watu si wajinga bwana. Watu si wajinga vile mnadhani.
Joseph suspending peace commented, matokeo ya D+. Kipsang observing, enyewe Kenya pekee ndio iko na too much democracy.
Be fearless! Be fearless! Be fearless! Be fearless!
Kings regrettably, unfortunately sina lawyer, ningekuambia ukweli.
Na nitajaribu sana kujirestrain. I will try kujirestrain.
Well, Kings, seems the only one coming through for you is Sagod at this point.
Well, that's it for us. Catch you next week on Savage Netizens for Easy Friday. I am Teresa Mutai.
You got me where you got me. You got me where you got me, Baba. You got me.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. Wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi, wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.
Nilikwambia unitumie picha ya Redes Only. Atito ni Rede. Hata ukiangalia vizuri kabisa Atito ni musijana.
Agupi ngiteni tausandi. Atiga Kenya saa yone.
Aiwe, you're too close, Akibu. Hapo. Kinyanchi. Yangu nayo ukipita nayo. Ile ukweli ninapita na wewe nitakufunua. Wai. Hiyo kitu ni fake. Hebu simama hapa utatupia pesa wewe.
Ratumiko obiche.
Eka password hapa.
You are intruding into my privacy.
Hebu password Kinyanchi.
KYMCA recently held their annual awards, and this is where they pick out, acknowledge and celebrate outstanding members of the organization.
I would say this time when I was doing my undergraduate, that's when I started realizing the power in me and who I am.
Education, giving out bursaries, healthcare. I made sure that you have camps.
Among that, I'm a founder of Young Women for Kenya, that's York. I'm a member of so many organizations, youth-led movements.
Your degree, you have a degree in BCom. You can do it better at home. What do you want to do here? This is a male space. And let's not talk about harassment, cyberbullying. Oh my goodness.
We have to fight to fit in amongst our male counterparts, youths. So we fight twice, as a woman, as a young woman.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. It is now time for the business news.
Well, now the government is looking to migrate most of its data to the Konza Technopolis by 2025, utilizing the new infrastructure it has put into the smart city.
President William Ruto says significant investments into Kenya's digital economy, including upskilling, will unlock the country's digital ambitions.
Kenya's digital economy is growing, with the government recognizing digitalization as a key part of its economic strategy. As a result, the country is considered a leader in technological innovation in East Africa.
The government of Kenya is also taking robust measures to promote the emergence of a fully fledged digital economy, leveraging Kenya's status as a regional hub for software development and digital exports.
The government is also planning to use Konza Technopolis as a center for Kenya's rising creative space by exclusively segmenting infrastructure for the sector.
I want to persuade many young people who are in that space to use it for their benefit, to use it for digital commerce, to use the content they are creating. As we monetize that space, it must be pushed to be used positively for them to empower themselves and for them to grow themselves.
The president was speaking at Konza Technopolis, where he officially launched the Africa Center of Competence for Digital and Artificial Intelligence Skilling. The center will see civil servants trained in emerging technological trends in service delivery.
Notably, the hub's inaugural cohort of 43 startups selected from 668 applicants across 43 countries exemplifies the vibrant talent and innovation in Africa. Konza Technopolis, which is a robust ICT infrastructure and innovation ecosystem, is the ideal home for this transformative initiative.
With its leadership in renewable energy and innovation, Kenya is uniquely positioned to catalyze this transition. No wonder the Timbuktu Green Tech Hub is being hosted in this country at this place.
In collaboration between the United Nations Development Programme and the Ministry of Information, Communications and Digital Economy, the Timbuktu Green Tech Hub Accelerator Programme is also designed to support startups in developing solutions and helping businesses scale technologies that contribute to long-term economic growth.
The new Africa Competence Center here that is going to teach people on artificial intelligence and other digital skills joins the Open University of Kenya here at Konza Technopolis, the proverbial Silicon Savannah that is now starting to take shape. Alanauko, Konza Technopolis.
All right, now data analysts and researchers are urging the government to apply
accurate and
data-backed policies to increase efficiency and avert wastage of resources.
Kenya Institute of Public Policy Research and Analysis Chief Executive, that is Elda Osomo, says the newly launched Treasury Macroeconomic Model by KIPRA, if applied, has a capacity to guide government strategies in budgeting, fiscal planning and resource allocation over the short and medium term, helping to avert financial crisis.
Access to accurate and timely data remains a challenge, despite being critical in policy making, strategic investment decisions, and financial management.
We have to provide or do what we call predictive analysis. We have to be able to be very certain about our projections and our focus. And I think KIPRA has done very well.
We are optimistic the tools that we have are going to help us also advise on the critical policy issues that are going to trigger and boost the sustainability of the economy and also the development of our country.
The newly launched KIPRA Treasury Macroeconomic Model is touted as a game changer, aiding in forecasting of key economic indicators, including tax policies, GDP, inflation, and unemployment rates.
It's very important that we disseminate this information, which can be utilized even in the preparation of a budget. The data that we collect, because we deal with it, we collect data in different areas, like trade, as I've said, micro economics. So we believe that as soon as we have analyzed the data, anyone who requires that information will be able to get it.
Kenya Institute of Public Policy Research and Analysis Chief Executive Elder Onsumo says the model is essential in assessing the potential impact of various fiscal, monetary and trade policies before they are implemented, thus averting potential economic shocks.
It's very, very important that the policymakers or the implementers have to heavily rely on the KIPRA outputs. That's our research findings, because decisions that are going to be sound and to realize we get the sustainable priorities, we must base them on data.
Going forward, stakeholders want the government to apply evidence-based policy formulation. Regina Manyar reporting for Easy Friday.
All right, now 73% of Kenyans have relayed their dissatisfaction with the current status of the country's built environment, according to a new report by the Architectural Association of Kenya.
The survey conducted across 19 counties indicates that consumers are calling for reforms, particularly in zoning and building regulations, to avoid the perennial issues of structural integrity and non-compliance to the construction code.
Research conducted by the National Construction Authority reveals that more than 100 buildings have collapsed since 2010. A survey by the Architectural Association of Kenya says the sector is undergoing significant changes with the adoption of green building practices and the uptake of AI forecasting improvements that have resulted in greater efficiency and streamlined processes within the industry. However, respondents noted that safety concerns over traffic disruptions, violations of permitted construction times, non-compliance with zoning regulations needed to be addressed in order to ensure accountability in urban planning and development. With efforts geared towards reaching net zero carbon emission goals by 2050, the report highlighted that there were increased number of developments earning green building certifications. In line with this, stakeholders are urging counties to incorporate sustainable practices into their building guidelines. Additionally, the Architectural Association of Kenya says plans are underway to revive the coalition of built environment professionals that will advocate for the updating of existing regulations. The association will also focus on expansion of its initiatives that will involve academia professionals who will inculcate their knowledge with partners on more greening initiatives. Ndutamo Kami for Easy Friday.
And the government is planning to leverage on solar power to connect remote islands to the national grid.
Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi says solar mini grids will soon be commissioned in remote areas across the country to open them up for more investments.
The Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation reports that solar home system and mini grids have connected over 1.5 million households to the national grid. Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi says plans are underway to increase the numbers by setting up mini solar plants across the country, especially in isolated remote islands.
Some of these areas where we are putting up these projects have not had the opportunity to be connected to electricity since independence. In fact, since the world began, if I may call it so. And we are doing this from renewable energy sources.
2 solar projects have already been set up in Ngothe and Takawiri Islands in Homa Bay County.
Inhabitants of these islands, just like those inhabitants of the other 13 or so counties that are off-grid, are very delighted to be able to get connected to electricity for the first time in their lives.
The 2 solar plants will connect an additional 640 households to the national grid.
Particular project of Ngothe Island, as you know, has cost the government about 37 million Kenya shillings. And the impact it has created here is enormous.
Kenya has 307 megawatts of installed solar capacity and targets to generate 15 megawatts of solar power by the year 2030. Benson Rioba reporting for Easy Friday.
All right, then now the government is calling for more private-public partnerships to support capacity building in the technology and innovation sector targeting the youth.
Speaking during the PLP Talent Hub launch, ICT Secretary Mary Kerema said PPPs in tech are key in unlocking employment opportunities among the youth in the digital economy globally.
In Kenya, a growing demand for digital skills is shaping the employment market. Sectors such as technology, e-commerce, fintech, and creative industries are thriving, creating opportunities for skilled professionals.
What we want is to be able to expose all these to the young people so they can know whatever your degree you got, or if you haven't gotten one, can you at least tap into these skills? Because if you do, you will be what we call employable. You don't necessarily have to be employed in one place. You don't have to worry, but you will be employable. Your skill will be much needed.
However, gaps persist, particularly in bridging the transition from education to employment.
In terms of relooking at the curriculum and remodernizing that curriculum. But we are saying, of course, the curriculum re-engineering and revamping takes a lot of time. So what we are even calling partners is, can you build digital hubs in these universities? Let the students, as they are learning, currently they come out for internship as they're preparing to graduate. But can we give internship to the youths in the universities?
ICT Secretary Mary Kerema says the PLP Talent Hub will help connect graduates with job opportunities, freelance projects, and resources for venture building to stem unemployment among the youth.
Next year, we are looking to expand our reach more into the artificial intelligence and also blockchain, because we've realized there's a huge demand for that and huge request for that, even from companies, especially who are looking to reskill their existing employees. So most of our graduates today are not only young people who finish university, but also it's some employees who are looking, who are already in the marketplace, and they're looking to reskill themselves so they can be more marketable, either to get promotions or also just grow in their own careers.
The PLP's initiative targets to empower young people to navigate the job market, either through formal employment or entrepreneurship ventures drawn from marginalized and underserved regions.
It has been very impactful because I lost hope myself, but after this PLP, I was able to come up with a project. I'm now a founder of Nguvu Teach, which is having a vision of tech for all from everywhere.
The government has prioritized technology and digital transformation as a catalyst to address unemployment under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, Better Model. Regina Manyara reporting for Easy Friday.
And Regina Manyara's story there brings a close to business news this evening on Easy Friday.
All right, we are taking a quick breather. Daniel Wahome has the latest in sports on the other side of the break.
It is always a good time on Bridge over Congo.
Catch us every Saturday from 10 p.m. till midnight.
Join me, the Rumba Supreme Leader, the Grand Ayatollah Simeon Mfumo Kimbango, and
Winnie Marie Jose, Bridge over Congo.
Mungu esilaka na nzungute kasielenge Mungu esilaka na
Chumvi huyeyuka chunguni, lakini ladha yake hubakia.
Good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Easy Friday Sport. Now, 3,000 talented students from different schools across the country scouted in the national school sports competitions will battle out for a chance to make the grade for the second cohort that will be trained by elite coaches from established academies across the globe. The lucky athletes will be assisted in honing their skills in soccer, rugby, athletics, kabaddi, table tennis and volleyball.
Part of the 3,000 talented students are scouted from this year's National Secondary School Games, going through their paces for a chance to form a small of 300 students that will get a chance to be trained by elite coaches in Nairobi next year.
From these camps, we're going to select further best sports people that we're going to host an elite camp in April for most of the sports disciplines.
Last year, about 300 talented students were holed up in Nairobi for the boot camp, but this year the number has been expanded to 3,000 and camps are cascaded to 4 regions across the country. Students will have local coaches take them through their paces in hockey, basketball, athletics, kabaddi and many others.
We wanted to give further training for talented, scouted sports athletes. These holidays they have more time, that is 3 weeks. So we felt that 2 weeks will be enough, 2 to 3 weeks will be enough to train them further.
The Minister of Sports is banking on these groups to find a suitable cohort that will carry the country's hopes in Youth Commonwealth Games, Africa Cup of Nations competition, the Under-20, as well as the World Secondary School Games, where the country's female soccer team emerged second in this year's event. The Kenya Academy of Sports CEO says this is a continuation of the government's efforts to ensure talented youths have a smooth pathway from primary to tertiary institutions with proper training and mentorship.
We want to now go to colleges and university because we want to make sure that some of these athletes, the good ones, also take education seriously. So the ones that will be gotten through schools, if they perform well in primary school, we'll have to make sure that they go to the right secondary schools where their talents will be developed.
50 schools will also get proper playing fields, kits and technical assistance to help them hone the raw talent.
The Rangers will move from bottom to 11th position on the FKF Premier League table if they collect 3 points against Kariobangi Sharks at the Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos in one of the matches on the cards this weekend. Rangers sit at the bottom of the table with just 10 points, having won just 2 matches from the 10 games they've played so far this season. Their opponent, Sharks, are 8th in the league and will also be looking for 3 points, having gone winless in 5 matches. Kenya Police FC meanwhile play against Mara Sugar, who need a win after 2 back-to-back losses. Kakamega Homeboys play AFC Leopards, needing 3 crucial points that would see them climb above Leopards, while defending champions Gor Mahia host Bidco United.
Soalo Chien analeta ndani Calvin Opolo Masawa sizoko kichilito kusaba Mohamed Ali Bajabe Yenga Tyson Tai Otieno pembeni sasa Eric Zakayonga.
Team Shujaa will play Australia in the opening match of the second leg of the World Rugby 7 series tomorrow at the Cape Town's stadium. And Shujaa, who finished 10th after losing 15-7 to Uruguay in their 9th place playoff in Dubai, hope to make amends in Cape Town this weekend. They're boosted by the return of fly half Antonio Monde, who replaced Crescent Ojwang, who sustained an injury against Ireland. After Australia, they will play Spain in their second pool match. After Cape Town, Kenya 7th will return home to prepare for the leg to be held in Perth, Australia at the end of January next year.
Really working hard to be in the top 8, that's being in the quarters. And since there's no quarters, we just want to go fight for the 5th place and the 8th place going on forward.
Now, preparations are complete for the second edition of the Great Chepsaita Cross Country set for tomorrow. The World Athletics Gold Level Cross Country Meet has attracted both local and international athletes from Ethiopia, Uganda, South Africa, Tanzania and Poland. Kids and Masters races will cut and race the event with the main program, starting with the under-20 men's and women's races in the morning, followed by the senior men's 10-kilometer and senior women's 10-kilometer races in the afternoon. Over 2,000 athletes have registered for this year's edition, being the 11th cross-country Gold Tour meet and only the second goal-level cross-country race after the Sirikwa Classic. Now, the Safaricom Chapadimba All-Stars team will leave the country on Sunday for Spain for a week-long training in Huesca. The team is currently camping at the League Indoor grounds ahead of their departure on Sunday. The All-Star team consists of 32 players comprising 16 boys and 16 girls, scouted from across the country during the 8 regional finals held in Western, Nyanza, Rift Valley, Eastern, Coast, Central, Northeastern and Nairobi regions. During their stay in Spain, the team will play against Huesca's Youth Academy, attend master classes by former professional players, and utilize the state-of-the-art facilities at the base, which is in Arroganesa do Football.
Mimi na feel itanisaidia pakubwa, kwanza venye tuenda Spain, huku utapata timu mingi huku zitatuona, makochi wingi ambayo itakuwa ni exposure kwetu.
Spain ni one of the big countries in terms of football, na kwenda kucheza huko hivyo najua nitagain experience mzuri, nitalearn a lot of things in football na nita improve.
It was a very exciting Chapadimba season to see it culminate in this all-star team, 16 ladies, 16 gentlemen, going to Spain to be coached, to be mentored by the best of the best. We're so excited. We gathered a group of the most valuable players, which we figured out using the tech. Remember, we had the AI vests that we had given the players with all the stats, and of course the FKF scouts.
That's the sport for tonight. A lot happening over this weekend. We've got the FKF Elective General Assembly. We've got Kenya Sevens playing in South Africa. It's going to be big, plus the FKF Premier League and all that's happening around. My name is Daniel Wahome. Thank you for being with us. Back to John and Betty.
Thank you, Wahome, for giving us the sports news. And that is where we close Easy Friday this evening, and the weekend can begin, well, for us who are still working here in studio.
Absolutely, and talk about those in studio. On the other side of the studio is DJ Cole Jax with Disco Funk. I see you, my G. There you go. Enjoy the show, playing all those hits from way back to right now. You can not afford to miss this. Disco Funk coming up in not too long. Good night. So long, everybody.
Good night.
Star 570 hash. Option 1 kuna PS5 na ni full package na inakuja na JBL Party Box. Your boom experience pia iko.
Hello, kids.
Hey, guys.
Hey, everybody.
Are you ready for fun?
Huh?
We have an amazing package just for you. Akili. Ubongo.
Ubongo kids. Ubongo kids.
Big minds.
That is confusion. I am who I am.
Travelers.
I can travel to wherever I want.
Robocars. And Engine.
No more pollution, you know what I mean.
Oh, those little geniuses. The Children's Corner. Saturday mornings this holiday season only on KBC. That's right!
Wewe ni mama kanisa. A mother must fight for her children.
Need to get back to the office.
I hope sijamfukuza.
Are you planning a coup? It's possible.
Have you spoken to Alice?
You know that.
I don't trust him.
Can't be the victim here.